Hey there, in this lesson we're going to be talking about efficiency, and I'm going to introduce you to a concept called the Deming cycle. So here we are. This is a Deming cycle, and the Deming cycle has got 4 different phases in it. We start at the top left, which is plan. Then we move around to do, then check, then adjust. It's also known as a PDCA cycle, 4 phases. And what we do with this cycle, and the way that it's so good, is that we start off by planning a task, whatever that task is. Let's take the example of your daily routine, because we've just been talking about that. So what you do is you plan your daily routine. You decide how many hours you're going to work, and when you're going to do that work, how many chunks you're going to do in that work. Maybe 4 chunks in the day. You've got to start at a certain time and finish at a certain time for your first block, and then you're going to have a little break, how much time you're going to have in that break, what you're going to do in that break, and then you're going to have another chunk of work, and so on. You build your routine, all the different things that you're going to put into your routine, and you schedule it all. This is your plan. This is what you are going to do in the next day and in the next week for a weekly plan. Okay? Then you go on to your next part of the cycle, the phase 2, which is where you do. You go on and you do your work according to the routine, the schedule that you've set out. And once you've done it, you get to the end of the week, you then get to check how well it's gone. So you get out your plan and you look at the routine that you planned, and you compare it with what you actually did. Did they match up well? Okay, they may have done. They may not have done. The routine may have been fit for purpose, and it may not. It's not just about whether you did things according to your routine, but actually, did it work? Were you productive? Did you schedule the work at the right time for you? When you scheduled your first chunk of work, you decided, oh, I'm going to have a 3-hour chunk here. This is my first chunk because this is the time when I'm most productive. Was that good that you did a 3-hour chunk? If you'd have done a 2-hour chunk, would you have actually done it better? Were you starting to get tired towards the back end of that chunk? Maybe you need to think about having a smaller chunk of work and you adjusting things a little bit. So you have a look at the plan and you compare it with what you did, and you assess whether it was good enough or whether you can improve it, and then you move on to your next step. You've found out your advantages and your disadvantages of your plan, and now you can make an adjustment to the plan so that you can improve it. And this is where it's called a cycle. It comes back in to the next cycle now. So you've been through the first cycle. Your second cycle is you get to redo your routine. If the routine of the first week, there were 1 or 2 things that could have been done better, well, now you can make an improvement to it. Then you go around a second cycle. You have a new plan, an adjusted plan. Then you go and do it. Then you get to check it. And then, can you improve it some more? You get to adjust it again. And you keep going. This is all about continuous improvement. Every day, or every week, or every time you go around this cycle, depending on how often you do a particular task, you get a chance to assess if it's good and if you can improve it, and you get to continuously improve with this cycle going round and round and round, time and time again. So just because you've created your schedule, your routine, your daily routine for all the things that you're going to do, it doesn't mean that it's fixed. It doesn't mean that that's the best it's ever going to be. You go through a PDCA cycle to see if you can improve it, and you continually try to improve that daily routine. You never stop. You just keep going with it all the time. And it doesn't have to be your daily routine. You can use this on pretty much everything that you do. Every task that you have to do in your work, you put it through a PDCA cycle. You plan what you're going to do, you go and do it, then you check whether you succeeded or you failed, and then you adjust. Then you can go around again. Okay, so that's the concept of a Deming cycle, a PDCA cycle, and we're gonna go into more depth now, and so we can see all the different aspects of it and how we can use it. And so we're gonna do, on the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna do the first part. We're gonna look at how to plan things.